This started with the male gaze. The perspective of a notionally typical heterosexual man, considered as embodied in the audience or intended audience for films and other visual media, characterized by a tendency to objectify or sexualize women. And they gave an example by saying it's because of the male gaze that female characters are regularly eroticized. Okay. So then I searched male gaze versus female gaze. And what I got was the beauty of the female gaze is that it aims to empathize rather than objectify, to show emotion and intimacy while also showing respect. And this person said that this is a refreshing idea compared to the control, dominance, and superficialities of the male gaze. Because there's layers and levels. Because men function at more of a one facet, whereas women are multifaceted. However, we are all multifaceted. Women just tap and tune into their other facets also, whereas it appears that men kind of tend to be stuck in one. The female gaze. The female gaze is a feminist theory term referring to the gaze of the female spectator, character, or director of an artistic work. But more than the gender, it is an issue of representing women as subjects having agency. Aha. As such, all genders can create films with a female gaze. Aha. It is a response to feminist film theorist Laura Mulvey's term, the male gaze, which represents not only the gaze of a heterosexual male viewer, but also the gaze of the male character and the male character of the film. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So then I was like, what about the male gaze? Gay men are male homosexuals, some bisexual, and homo-romantic. I like that. Men may dually identify as gay, and a number of gay men also identify as queer. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, it looks like when I was searching, I showed up in the search. I'm like, wait, why am I in the search? Well, a text message when I was texting my best friend on Monday. Sorry, today's Monday. When I was texting her yesterday, and she mentioned something about the male gaze, and I said basically, and women do stuff for the male gaze and the male gaze, meaning there are a lot of women at this point who do enjoy being objectified and not having agency and just being an object. Okay, meaning no layers, no levels, just one facet, one degree. That's all. So then I looked up gaze as a verb. It says look steadily and intently, especially in admiration, surprise, or thought. Okay. Now as a noun, it says it's a steady, intent look. So in literary theory, a particular perspective taken to embody certain aspects of the relationship between observer and observed, especially as reflected in the way in which an author or film director directs attention, unconsciously or otherwise. Hence the male gaze. The male gaze seems to be taking quite a bit of the storm these days, does it not? So then I saw Gaw. I thought this was funny because it says guaranteed annual wage. Now, in my opinion, it sounds like if people are going to gawk at you, they should at least run you that bag, bestie, right? The guaranteed annual wage. Okay, well, let's keep going because I wasn't looking up gaw. I was looking up gawk, okay? But they caught my attention. Gawk as a verb, stare openly and stupidly. They were gawking at some pinup. Now, mind you, I don't know who lexicons this dictionary, but I'm pretty sure it's men. I'm pretty sure it's not even women, to be honest, but that's just a guess. But it's kind of funny because they throw the men under the bus quite a bit. Okay? As a noun, it's an awkward or shy person. That's usually boys. Boys are usually shy. Girls can be shy too. Guys are definitely awkward. But they don't try to not be either, which is very interesting. Zeus! I apologize. Gawk. He gawked unashamedly at the beautiful girl. That's as a verb. So we have gape, goggle, gaze, ogle, stare, stare stupidly, stare open-mouthed, stare in wonder, look fixed, look vacantly. Wow, I've definitely had that look before. Or also informally known as rubbernecking. Okay. Well, what happened? There we go. Gawk. A clumsy, stupid person. Wow. Well, that's not very nice now, is it? Rubber. Okay. So here we can see, as I was typing in rubber, this is where it came. I didn't finish typing in rubber neck yet, but you can see the top hit is rubber neck, but rubber was also an option. So pretty sure we kind of know what rubber is, right? But we're not here to talk about rubber. We're here to talk about rubber necking. Turn one's head to stare at something in a foolish manner. A fool. Rubberneck. Okay? Or rubbernecking, a person who rubbernecks, right? Okay? So you can see here, these are basically the same definition, but you can see that one's a little bit different because one's the New English and one is the, you see, New Oxford American Dictionary, and one is Oxford Dictionary of English, okay? So, now let's move on. Rubberneck. Turn one's head to stare at something in a foolish manner. See, I kind of give you, and I showed you how both of them are basically the same, but they're slightly different. One broke down the spelling of rubberneck, and then the other one only broke it down in, I'm guessing what is Latin? Okay. Now, because of the definition, it said uncontrollable. Where did it say that? I must have saw uncontrollable somewhere because I then searched it here. Unmanageable, ungovernable. Okay, this is why we have a quote-unquote government, right? They're really here to govern the men, not the women. Same as religion. That stuff's not even for women. It's for men. They are the ones who are unmanageable and ungovernable, aka not controllable, because they can't control their own desires in their loin. Uncontrollable, unmanageable, out of control, ungovernable, wild, unruly, disorderly, recalcitrant, refractory. Ooh, refractory? Interesting. Refractory is what they call a refractory period. Is between when a man has an orgasm and is able to experience another orgasm. That's actually called a refractory period. So this is very interesting. Obstreperous, never heard of that word before. Turbulent, intractable, incorrigible, disobedient. Yes, that is men. You guys are very naughty, and you know it. Delinquent, insubordinate, defiant, non-compliant, undisciplined. Ungovernable, irresistible, irrepressible, unstoppable, unquenchable. The thirst cannot be quenched, ladies. You may try and try, and this is why the more you make them wait, the more it tempers them. But you can't just drag it on without giving in. But you can't just give in immediately because they are unquenchable. It is up to the woman to control the man because he cannot control himself. Uncontainable, wild, violent, forceful, frantic, frenzied, furious, raging, raving, mad, fervid, crazed, hysterical, maniacal, maniac. Okay. The only antonym is controllable. Wouldn't it be nice if men could be controllable on their own? We wouldn't have to worry about the patriarchy, would we? Temperance. They're saying it's an abstinence from alcoholic drink. Well, I mean, women can get drunk off dick, right? The quality of moderation or self-restraint. The whole multitude of men lack temperance in their lives, either from ignorance or from want of self-control. A story of the struggle to achieve temperance. Wow. And who wrote this? I'm pretty sure men wrote this. But even if they didn't, is this not true? Let's continue. Temper. A fit of rage. Rage. Fury. Fit of bad, ill temper, bad temper, tantrum, passion, paroxysm. Fit of pique. Bad mood, pet, sulk. Interesting. Okay. Anger, fury, rage, annoyance, vexation, crossness, irascibility, irritation, irritability, ill humor. Definitely. Ill-tempered. Dyspepsia. Okay. Spleen. Spleen? That's an interesting one. Pique. Petulance. Peevishness. Pettiness. Testiness. Tetchiness. Snappiness. Snappishness. Crabbiness. Resentment. Surliness. Churliness. Air rage. What I'm finding here is a repetition of words and definitions and descriptions that usually are aimed at, projected at women. Our entire existence is a masculine self-projection, which is why it doesn't work anymore, because we're in a matrix. This is not a patrix. Mère is the mother. Père is the father in French, and very similar in other languages that are Latin-based. English is the fuck shit. It is not Latin-based. It is Germanic. Anyhow, let's continue, because all of these words sounds like the way that men describe women when they're on their period. Whole time, they're just projecting themselves. And that's why they get so frustrated and mad when they see that a woman is able to have and experience these emotions also, but yet gain and maintain control over them. We don't allow our emotions to rule over us if we are healthy. Nowadays, there are a lot of women that are clearly not healthy, and they're acting in masculine ways. I call it toxic femininity. Gangbangers shooting each other, men just wanting to fly off the handle and fight each other. That's toxic femininity. That's not masculine. To fight can be masculine, but to fight due to emotional outrage, that's toxic femininity, baby, okay? To have a proper fight, line it up with your, come to an agreement. Okay, let's fight. Let's box it out. That is more proper masculine energy. To want to be violent, but in an organized manner. That's smart. To just fly off the handle and just do something because you're reacting. That is toxic femininity. Anger, fury, rage, annoyance, vexation, crossness. Did I say all these already? Perhaps I did. Okay. Composure. She struggled to keep her temper. Okay. Composure, equanimity, self-control, self-possession. Apologies. Sang-froid. Never heard of that. Coolness, calmness, tranquility, good humor. He was a placid temperament, disposition. Your temperament is your natural disposition, right? See, when we're talking about temperament, like these are actually kind of referring to what we consider maybe watery things, right? I mean, it can be dry also, but a temper is kind of dealing with the emotions. The emotions are watery because they are feminine. Anyways, this is why it's important to master, men and women, to master your emotions. This is why a lot of men don't believe in astrology, because it's about emotions. And men do not get it, and they just don't believe it, and they just throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. Because they already don't, that is pure expression right there to show they don't even have the bandwidth to fathom the idea of controlling and understanding emotions and temperament. Temperament, disposition, nature, character, personality, makeup, constitution, mind, spirit, stamp, metal, mold, mood, frame of mind, cast of mind, habit of mind. Okay? Now, temper. Drew had walked out in a temper. Fit of rage. We're back to that again. Let's give some extra ones in here. We've got grump, huff, snit. Those are cute. Those are English. Informal. Okay. And looks like these are still the same. These are still the same. These are still the same. Okay. Loses one's temper. To become very angry. To fly into a rage. To explode. To blow up. To erupt. Lose control. Go berserk. Breathe fire. Begin to rant and rave. Flare up. Boil over. Those are just proper, right? Or I guess I should say formal. There's also informal. Verb: harden, strengthen, toughen, fortify. To temper. Ooh. So to use temper as a verb means it's heated. It's tempered by heat treatment. Strengthen, toughen, fortify. Yeah, okay. The idealism is tempered with realism. Yes, moderate, modify, modulate, tone down. This is what we need. Mitigate. This is what we need. Palliate, alleviate. This is what we need. Aller, assuage. Wow, I see a sausage. Lessen, reduce, weaken, lighten, soften, cushion, qualify. Very good. Tantrum. What's a tantrum? A tantrum, a temper tantrum, a lash out, a meltdown, a fit, or a hissy fit. These are, pardon me, these are masculine traits, mind you. They can say childish and they can say feminine. But the definitions are telling us these are masculine ways. Use logic, not emotions, to draw conclusions. A tantrum. Usually associated with those in emotional distress. Are men not in emotional distress? Usually the distress is the fact that they don't know what it is that they're feeling. But it's not just that. It's because they don't try. If you would actually try, you knew better, you do better. The men in my life, they try. The men in most people's lives that I know try. But clearly there is an outpour of men, an overflow of men that do not even try because they've not been taught. This is something that's not talked about or discussed, but it is now, and it will be from now on, because the only way to fix the problem is to put it in the light. The only way to kill something is to put it in the sun. You want to grow something? Hide it in the darkness. Bury it like a seed, and it will bring forth harvest. Something indeed. Usually associated with those in emotional distress, this is typically characterized by stubbornness, crying, screaming, violence, defiance, angry ranting, a resistance to attempts at pacification, and, in some cases, hitting and other physically violent behavior. You see, this is how you can tell that, yes, children behave away, and men and women also still behave like children at times, but that's how you can tell that just because you're an over 18 person, quote unquote adult, that doesn't mean you are grown. Or perhaps we should say it the other way. Just because you have grown does not mean that you are an adult. Physical control may be lost. Men, do you find yourself losing control physically? Thinking about it, almost? Is it an effort for you to maintain control over your fits of rage and anger, frustration, horniness? If so, you are not alone. Clearly, this is something that all of you guys have. This is a problem that you've been suffering with, and no one's been here to help you, baby, but I'm here. Okay? Physical control may be lost. The person may be unable to remain still. And even if the goal of the person is met, they may not be calmed. Throwing a temper tantrum can lead to a child getting detention or being suspended from school. For older age children, a tantrum may be expressed in a tirade, a protracted angry speech. So what I don't like here is how they threw in the child at the very end, knowing good and damn well that there are plenty of adults having temper tantrums every day. This is a human problem. This is not a child or an adult problem. Excuse me. Someone who's grown. How about that? Yeah, you grown, but you ain't an adult. Tantrum, a fit of bad temper. Tantrum. She throws a tantrum when she can't get the toy she wants. Yeah, that's men. Objectifying women. Cannot get that toy. They cannot get the object that they want. Sounds about right to me. Busting women over the head. Raping, killing, stealing, destroying, just like the devil. The devil's not real. But the man who wrote the Bible is very interesting, right? The men who wrote the Bible. God and the devil are one and the same, according to that book, if you think about it. God's just the one telling the story about himself in third person. Ooh. Fit of temper, fit of rage, fit of pique, fit, outburst, flare up, blow up, pet, paroxysm, frenzy, bad mood, mood, huff, scene. Scene, we know about that. Temperamental. Liable to unreasonable changes of mood. That is, yeah. So women definitely can seem like that at times, but can men not seem like that at times? Unreasonable change of mood. Like, what happened? What's going on? Because they're the ones who have stuff happening internally and they can't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. Women want to talk about it. But then when women talk about it, men want to do something about it. But women don't necessarily want you to do something about it. They want you to listen and process it. They want you to feel what they're feeling. Not physically fix it and do something about it. Men are more physical. They are projection. They are sun energy. They are masculine. Women are more feminine. We're not projecting. We're receiving. And then they get mad because they say all we want is to receive. Take, take, take. Again, a form of self-projection. Because no, you guys want to take, take, take. We just respond and say, well, if you want to take this from me, then you need to give me something of yours. It's only fair. And I don't know who, what, or how we got away from this notion that men don't need to pay for what it is that they want. They're spoiled. That's why they're throwing temper tantrums and killing women left and right. This is patriarchal problems. Temperamental. As an adjective, it's liable to unreasonable changes of mood and relating to a person's temperament. What's reasonable then? Reasonable. A reasonable man, you see? I'm going to put you here first too. It seemed a reasonable explanation. Okay. Sensible. Rational. You see, they had to put a reasonable man because there aren't many, right? They're just like there's not many unreasonable women, there's not many reasonable men. Though they're supposed to be the logical ones. They talk a good talk, but they don't walk a good walk, and that's a fact. And I'm not saying this to put men down. I'm saying this from an educational standpoint because this is the only way we're going to fix the problem. And so for men to understand men, see, you guys understand some parts of you, but you don't get all of you. Because if you did, you would have emotional intelligence, but you don't. We're trying to help you gain emotional intelligence and not have emotional damage. Sensible, rational, open to reason. Men are not open to reason a lot of times. So when women act like this, are they just copying men since that's not of our nature? Full of common sense, logical, fair-minded, just. I like justice, baby. Equitable. I like equilibrium. I like balance. Decent, intelligent, wise, level-headed, practical, realistic. I like that. Based on good sense, sound, judicious, well thought out. Yes, we like thinking, not acting. Well-grounded, reasoned, well-reasoned, valid, commonsensical, advisable. See, when you're advisable, you're being reasonable, and that's nice. Well-advised. That means you know how to listen, you know how to take advice. Tenable, plausible, feasible, credible, acceptable, admissible, believable, viable. Okay? But a lot of people deal and function from the antonymic way, which is unreasonable and illogical. You may take all reasonable precautions to ensure the safety of your property. That's what I like to do. My body is my property. And I must hide and hoard my body as much as possible, which is why I put it on display on the internet, because I like balance. And since I have to tuck it away in real life, I can let it hang out on the web. Within reason, practicable, sensible, appropriate, suitable, fitting, and proper. How many men do you know are appropriate, suitable, and fitting, and proper? Are you one? Is your father, your brother, your uncle? It's always somebody uncle who's not. Most hire cars, they did not even write that sentence properly, that are in reasonable condition, which is fairly good. See, can you guys just be fairly good to us? Can you just act acceptable? Can you just fall within the realms of satisfactory? A lot of times men get frustrated and they say nothing can satisfy you. No, that's not true. Women accept less than average men all the time. But we just want you to be average. We just want you to be adequate, respectable. Can you just be respectable and fair and decent? Not bad. A lot of men are bad because they allow their emotions to take over them, because they don't practice any form of muscle control, muscling the control over their emotions. Inexpensive. Wow. Okay. These are good hot food at reasonable prices. Oh, okay. Low cost, cheap, budget, bargain. Hey, we don't mind. Sure, whatever. Within one's means, we will accept that. Now, I looked this up because I thought it was interesting. Dilute. Because we're going to lead into right? Delusion. Because the English language is a fuck fest. I'm going to help you unfuck it. Over time, of course, but dilute. Make a liquid thinner or weaker by adding water or another solvent to it. Okay? Make something weaker in force, content, or value by modifying it or adding other elements to it. This is what we want to do to men and their rage. We wish to dilute your rage. I'm sure there are many of men. I've heard, what are they called? Bad guys? I've heard them say before that they wish that they could. Nobody could help them dilute their rage, right? We're all here to help. Men have to help men, and women have to help themselves. But by educating everyone about the temperament of the male, my Trust is that the men will start to temper themselves and each other and learn how to have proper containment around and with women and children and each other and not have so much rage. Reduce the value of, see, I feel like men think that if they reduce the value of like the amount of testosterone, let's say, then they're going to be less of a man, since testosterone is directly correlated with and linked to masculinity. But you're not supposed to be all masculine, friends. You're not supposed to be all feminine either, friends. The earth has balance. We live here, we too shall have balance. And those of you that don't will be wiped off of this planet unequivocally, undeniably. Undeniably. Okay. As an adjective, having a relatively low concentration of solute. Okay, weak or low in concentration. Okay, good. Now, that's dilute. Now we've got delusional. Characterized by or holding false beliefs and or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. You see, women have contributed to this, to the conditioning of men and their tantrums and their rage and their unquenched thirst and horniness to desire multiple women. Yes, sure, some of you may be allowed, but the fact of the matter is there's just too many men here and most of them are not deserving, period. And that's what the patriarchy did. It set us up to where undesirable men have access to women. The strong survive. In the free jungle world, a lot of these men would not be here because nature or other men would wipe them out. Or women, females. We hunt also. We come in droves. Okay. Delusional. He was diagnosed with a delusional disorder. Yes, he was. Except they just won't say it. If they would admit that majority of men are suffering with this, then we could start to begin to heal. But as long as we live in denial and delusion, we will be denied the right to continue existing on this planet. This is based on our having faulty judgment, being mistaken. A lot of you guys are mistaken. You think that women owe you pussy. You think that women owe you something. And they don't. They owed you the life they gave you. And for that, you should be grateful until your last days. If you're not donating money to some woman, women too, if you're not giving to women because the earth is feminine, okay? If you're not donating and giving to the feminine, you will suffer here. Period. Religion is penis worship. It's phallic. You're not supposed to be praising some man in a pulpit. This is why the church has not helped heal this planet, not one bit. The only thing that the church has done has helped bad people hide in good places. Hidden in plain sight, as they say. Anyhow, let's finish up. Projection. Now, this is one of my favorites because I love to tell everybody that they are self-projecting because this is true. However, at that time, I did not realize that projection was a masculine trait. I now get it, and it makes sense. An estimate or forecast of a future situation or trend based on a study of present ones. That would be astrology, what men choose to not want to believe in. But it's a projection. It's a forecast. It's not saying this is guaranteed to blah, 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 but it's just saying the chances of this happening are pretty high based off of da-da-da-da-da. The presentation of an image on a surface, especially a movie screen. You see, that's a part of the Matrix too. That's a part of the trickery. That's part of the fuck shit. The movie scene, right? Movie screen, right? The Matrix. What is the Matrix made of? About 4 major categories. Because this is a quad after all, right? All religions is a category. All governmental bodies is another category. All entertainment, including sports, television, film, stage, podcasting, broadcasting. Okay? And all those are cradled in the arms of the technology of the military. That's the 4th one. That's the Matrix. But now all of those exist inside of science. That's the big dog. And that's where they don't want us. Women, they don't want women in science. Why? Because we are the science. They're technically experimenting and figuring us out this whole time. They want to figure out how to be a woman, how to produce a baby, how to make a baby out of a womb. What is a womb? How? They want to be creative. They want to be a goddess. But the closest you're going to get to one is by worshiping the one that you came from, or finding another one that you've chosen. The presentation or promotion of someone or something in a particular way, that's a projection. A thing that extends outward from something else. See, that's the penis. That's the masculine energy. That's the sun. The sun projects rays. The moon absorbs. That's the feminine. But we are both. That's why there's yin and yang. The sun, the earth needs both sun and moon, right? As you do too, and I do also. We all need sun and moon. And they're always rotating and moving around. And so by maintaining this is called homeostasis. And this is where we seek to be. Once you have achieved true homeostasis, you can then begin to get closer to the top of Maslow's hierarchy of what? Self-actualization. The only way you can do that is to become familiar with, learn, master, and know yourself. Okay? Representation on a plane surface of any part of the surface of the earth or a celestial sphere. Okay? Projectile. A missile designed to be fired from a rocket or gun. Sounds like sperm. Sounds like the sperm coming out of the projection. The projection is the dick. The projectile is the sperm. Okay? Propelled with great force. Oh yeah. That's definitely sperm. Projectile vomiting. You know, as a woman, can I just throw this in there? Just an extra 2 cents. Projectile ejaculating is the bomb. When you guys come with the thunder, oh man, that's powerful. But a lot of you can't because you come too often and you don't have any power behind that bang anymore. You just have a drip and a ooze. It's not too sexy. Women already ooze. We don't need more oozing. We need shooting. You're going to shoot it up, bang, bang. Come with that thunder, okay? Just saying. Okay, this is actually, okay. So this is subject. It cut it off, kind of, but basically this is, subject was very long. Very, very long definition. You can see the subject here, but let's just go to, as an adjective. Likely or prone to be affected by. That's the subject, yeah. Dependent or conditional upon. Okay. Under the authority of. As an adverb, conditionally upon. Okay. Verb, cause or force to undergo. Bring under one's control or jurisdiction. Yeah. People, we do become subjectify, to identify with a subject or interpret in terms of subjective experience. You see, this is what I'm saying. This is what the definitions are saying, that women don't mind if you subjectify us. It's when you objectify us that we have a problem. Objective. Not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts. You see? So an object, like when you look at an object, you don't have any feelings towards it, right? It's a tool. Princella Cl said in her research that she found studies where they neurologically were studying men, and when showed a woman or told about a woman, the part of their brain that lights up is the part that is in association with tools. This is why she says that men are incapable of loving, because they objectify everything. They just want, take, need. And they think that they're giving, but they're only giving to receive. To do or denoting a case of nouns and pronouns used as the object of a transitive verb or a preposition. A thing aimed at or sought, a goal. You see, when women are objectified, they are a goal. A car is a goal. A boat is a goal. A house is a goal. Right? Object. Something material that may be perceived by senses. Something that when viewed stirs a particular emotion. See, they don't have any emotions about it, but they get emotionally charged from it. Objectify. To degrade to the status of a mere object. Expressed in a concrete form. Okay. That's it. So, how do you feel about this study? This deep dive? This beginning? This is just the beginning to the healing. Venus is out of retrograde, and we are realigning our love with where it belongs and where it deserves to be. We are removing our love, our loins, and our laughter from any and everything that does not subjectify us but objectifies us, that does not try to feel what we feel or even what themselves feel. This is not just for men. This is not just for women. This is also for men. Because of the pacifying of the bad behavior of the male, we have ended up into this patriarchal situation. No more. It's over. Mars is coming out of retrograde soon also. The balance is upon us. Come correct.